to another episode of the Fernando Alonso Extended Career Mode, where we are today live here, directly in front of the race. And it's not only one race, it's the final race of the first season in Formula 1 for us. And it's still a pretty tight championship fight. As you can see, it will be dry throughout the race, as I would expect it here in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, I applied one more upgrade as well to the Alfa Romeo, which will come in for next season. It's a chassis upgrade, weight redistribution in the hydraulics that gets Alfa Romeo on the same level as the Haas, more or less. Yeah, that's just about what I was able to do for my soon ex-team, Alfa Romeo. Because, as you know, we probably, most likely, will switch to Ferrari after this Grand Prix. Will be shown in this episode as well. But yeah, before that we have to do another good race to get, as you can see, maybe even ahead of Sergio Perez in the Drivers' Championship, and keep Alfa Romeo in 4th place in the Constructors' table. Should be doable with 18 points of a gap against Racing Point. Yeah, you can see the full results. The trend is good for Perez, but not good enough for Perez to keep the Racing Point turnover against Alfa Romeo. Yeah, I did the qualifying already yesterday. I'm not sure what the outcome was. I think we were in P7 in the qualifying. We will see soon. Yeah, let's head to the race. Our last race in Alfa Romeo with Nico Hülkenberg as teammate. We will see what the starting grid looks like. What I can say is that both Vettel and Hamilton had a pretty good qualifying, so they will make a good fight for race victory at the same time as for the championship victory. Here you go. Starting grid already lines up on the start-finish straight. In the evening here in Abu Dhabi. We already had some legendary fights for a championship here a few years ago. For example, 2016, when Nico Rosberg only just held on to second place against Verstappen and Vettel to take his one and only championship against Lewis Hamilton. Or 2010, where 4 drivers had the chance to take the championship title, and the third of the table in front of this race, Sebastian Vettel, in the end was the luckiest of all those 4 to take a historic championship at this time. He was the youngest championship of all time. I think age 23. That could be possible if we do it next year. We'll see. For now, we have to think of something different. Verstappen in pole position, with Vettel in second place, Charles Leclerc third and Alonso in fourth. Perez fifth, Sainz, Gasly, Hamilton with grid penalty only in eighth. That's critical. Then we have Norris, Weber, Albon, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Stroll, Russell, Grosjean, Magnussen and Devon Butler rounds up the final grid of this race, of this season. So that's Lewis Hamilton only in 8th position.
This is the final race of the season. Go out there and enjoy it.
That's critical. That sees Vettel in second place as he was in qualifying, but Hamilton was in third. And with a gearbox penalty probably, he now only is in 8th position. And that would mean that Sebastian Vettel is world champion at the moment when it ends like it starts. Wouldn't have been the case if Hamilton would have started from third place, because he has more victories and a 3 points lead. It will be a close one, I can tell you. We'll see what we can do, especially in this fight. Oh my goodness, I don't have the wheel activated. So, wait a minute. We may restart this, I don't know. If our getaway is good enough, I will leave it. Yeah, it seems to be good enough. We hold on to 4th place even though we had a little moment against Carlos Sainz. Ooh, the car is tough to drive. And Sainz has a look at our inside already. But he cannot do it. We held on to it to stay in 4th place at least for now. We don't have slipstream, Sainz has the 3 in front. We're pulling away already. Will be interesting how it works out for them throughout the race. If Charles Leclerc, if it's close enough, lets Vettel pass. I'm not too sure if that's a thing in this game. We'll see. Anyway, we are driving a different race here. We're driving not against the Ferraris and Verstappen, but against maybe even the Mercs and Gasly, but especially against Sainz and Perez, who are directly behind us for now. There are still rumors that Perez gets to Mercedes next year, and Sainz has to fight for his seat at McLaren. So interesting scenarios throughout the whole grid actually. There can be much going on in the winter break. That wasn't good. We are not quite on it for now. Pace is not there for now, and we have to cover the inside against Carlos Sainz as good as we can. It's not easy. It seems like we have done it for now and now we lose it a bit. Now Perez seems to get the better of Carlos Sainz. Hamilton tries to do so as well. We're improving, it feels.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
I mean, it's pretty much usual for AMA races, as you might have seen it. It was always like that, that we just didn't have the pace for the first 2 laps, but throughout the middle of the race we were quite good then. Around the pit stops especially. Now it will be tough to defend from Perez and the strong Mercedes engine. But we give it all in the braking zone. We just about outdo him. But there is Hamilton, and that's crucial. Meanwhile Vettel got past Leclerc. And now Hamilton tries to overtake us to get into 4th place, which wouldn't be enough. But it would get him closer. But we don't make it easy for him, as you see. He has a look there, I didn't expect it. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, that's not quite the way. Well, that was a bit dumb from my side. Anyway, let's give it another shot, and now we covered the inside. Ah, that was the disciple's mistake. Now Hamilton is through. We hope to keep on to him for the DRS at least. Would give us an advantage against Perez as well. It seems like Hamilton has good pace. He has the advantage that he started on medium. I didn't mention that. But he started on the medium as the only person from the top 10. The only one who qualified in Q2 with the medium tire. And it worked out pretty solidly for him. So that could help him in the race as well. Maybe he gets too close in onto the Ferraris. Verstappen seemed to seal the victory here. But what happens behind him? Are the Ferraris battling each other? Or will Leclerc make it easy for the championship contender, Vettel? Seems like someone not far behind us did retire. It's in Haas. Kevin Magnussen, the first one to retire from the season. Even though he had a good one, he dominated Grosjean pretty much throughout the season. So I expect Magnussen to be seen in the Formula 1 grid next year as well. At least in a house. Oh, and there comes Perez. And that was too late. Now Perez had to break down way too much. We don't care about it too much, as long as we keep position without getting a penalty. And that's just what we did. I'm driving so stupidly. Really? Did he only just? I think he's in the race lead since the first corner. But anyway. That's not what we should care about in today's race, even though it's really a fantastic drive by Verstappen. That will probably get him P3 in the championship. Will overtake Leclerc. Now Sainz attacks us at the usual place, but in some way we always had the ability to defend our position here, even though it will be tougher now with Gasly coming onto us. You're already pitting this lap? Really? I thought it would be a bit later. I'm surprised. Then the medium have to go 21 laps. Are you sure that will work? Because I'm not. The temperatures are just too high. Tires aren't working as they should. And now we cannot defend at all against Gasly. Bottas is in the pits as well as one Ferrari. It is Vettel actually already. With Vettel in the pits, getting out in traffic, that could be interesting for Hamilton.
Let's get some heat into those tires.
We will see how that pans out. But it's not an advantage for Vettel. Just doesn't work. Oh, come on. Dump. Just dump from me. But it's so weird at the braking. I mean, look, now I'm totally... Oh, crap. Oh, come on. Now it works. It seems like one more is out of this race. Who is it? Is it a Williams? Seems like it's Weaver. Lucas Weaver out of the race. As the second retirement already in this race. And I'm totally out of concentration.
Okay, clear.
Sorry, but I need to stop talking now. It just doesn't work anymore. At least for one lap. I will not talk.
The gap to the car ahead is 11.5 seconds. Okay, the gap behind is 1.9 seconds. Nico is in for his stop.
So that was one lap without talking and it just worked massively. Over 1 second faster than our previous best. While defending from Pierre Gasly. Which we need to do more often now. Now Leclerc and Verstappen pitted in as well already. Okay, we have Gasly, Otto's not far behind as well. Brave braking once again, but unlike against Perez it just worked out pretty good. And so we keep position once again. Yeah, Leclerc out of the pits now with about 2 seconds ahead of Vettel. Whoa. And there comes Gasly out of nowhere. And he just has to back out of it. It doesn't work today. Now we keep it pretty clean against Gasly. Didn't let him the ability to dive it down the inside. And now Hamilton is already in the pits. So he will switch onto hard tires then, I assume. To get the one stop working. So So he comes out not far behind Vettel.
Norris is in the pits.
I don't understand why you get a warning for this. It just gets you no advantage at all. Just a miscalculating by me. And it gets penalized. I don't understand why. Oh, now he hangs it around the outside. Outdoes us on the second corner, but now we have the airs in slipstream, so it's not over yet. We go for the inside and retake position. And that's us being back in P7. And now the final ones coming to the pits with Albon and Grosjean.
Our gap to the car in front is 11.1 seconds.
And now Hamilton overtakes Vettel on track for P3. That's crucial. That's just huge for a championship. Gets Vettel in a way worse position. And we are overtaken once again by Pierre Gasly. And now we are a bit further behind. So it will be tough to get the position once again. And it seems like it's not working. So Gasly overtakes us now. And Bottas is the next one to set us under pressure. And then there is still Carlos Sainz, who does a wonderful job in the McLaren. I mean, McLaren is still fighting for a championship. For P7 I think it is, against Haas. They are about 7 points behind them. So that will be interesting to watch. Because it doesn't seem that Haas will get any points here. So it's just about Carlos Sainz getting into P6 or better.
To stay with him, he might make a mistake.
Bottas pushed us pretty hard out of the track there. Just okay. And that's just how you get through there. It's important for him. He's driving for his Mercedes seat. mean, the victory in Brazil last time out was a bit of an advertisement for him, but I don't expect it to be enough for Mercedes to keep him, but we will see. Not important what he does this weekend, he will finish the championship in P5, so we cannot do anything about that, which is actually embarrassing in the fastest car. Gasly is not really better, who's in the race in front of him, in a championship behind him. He's dominated by Verstappen throughout the whole season as well. Now it gets interesting against Bottas. Maybe we can fight back, now one lap later. Seems like Bottas doesn't quite have the pace to pull away from us. I think it's unnecessary to fight him now. Maybe there will be an opportunity later on. Sainz cannot do anything against us, at least for now. But he can keep up with us. Ah, what a lockup. Dump. What I only now realized is that Hülkenberg is in P9. A strong race from him, after starting only P13. Not too far behind us. What? What for did I get this warning? I don't get it. Seems like I got a warning. But for what? I don't see myself too far away from track. Anyway. It's important to get within 1 second once again. Against Bottas. Now 7/10 is the gap, so that's enough to get us the DRS. And Sainz has it as well from us. Oh no. Why did that happen? What is this? How is that a warning? I don't understand it. Now Bottas seems to have DRS from Pierre Gasly, while Hamilton, I see, overtook Charles Leclerc as well. He seems to be on a mission. The mission win now, but not for Ferrari. It's for Mercedes and especially Hamilton. And Sainz seems to break away. And now, we almost lost it there. With Pierre Gasly into the pits already. And it is Leclerc in the Ferrari who pitted as well. He comes out just about behind us, and that's the wheel getting a bit loose. Weird. Anyway, so here we go. Now we have too much of a gap against Bottas, so we don't get DRS anymore.
Don't forget, box this lap.
Leclerc closes in onto us. Of course, he's now on the fresher rubber, so it will be tough to defend from him. Nah, with a little slide off after the last corner, he already gets us into the first one. At least now we have the advantage that we get DRS on the long straight. That will gain us at least some tenths of a second. With that lockup it doesn't help us. Hülkenberg, our teammate, pressurizes us from behind on soft tires. So now Vettel comes out of the pits, almost ahead of us, not far behind us. That means we are in P4 for now.
Okay, gap ahead is 3.6 seconds.
I'm not sure if Hamilton will pit in once more. If he started, if he switched to the hard tires, then he probably will not. But if he's on the soft tire with, oh my goodness, Vettel is already behind us. I will defend. Ah, that was a bit too late. But we make ourselves as wide as possible to keep position anyways. Oh my goodness, he has so much straight line speed. Yeah, we just cannot... Ah, now I have front wing damage. But we just cannot defend from him, it seems. Maybe with a bit more power. But he's motivated. Anyway, for now we killed his motivation. We get him back into the 5th place where he should remain from our point of view. He's so close to our rear. We really need to make ourselves as wide as we can to keep position, even though it is for no use actually to fight him, because he will finish ahead of us anyway.
5 seconds.
Ah, now I cut the corner. It's just a bit of a sign as well, with the target to be at Ferrari next season, to fight against our most likely teammate next season. I think Leclerc will be kicked out of the team more likely than Vettel, but we will see. I don't think we can defend anymore now. We have to settle down for 5th position now. He just has way more traction than us. And now Albon is not far behind us as well.
Hit in this
But the
lap.
DRS from
Speed limit.
Vettel helps us for now.
Keep that in mind as you approach.
And we will not have to defend any longer against Albon, because we will pit in right in the set. I don't even know actually what tire we will get onto now. If it's the soft or the medium. Seems like the medium. I think the soft would have been possible as well. I don't know why. Anyway.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. Receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross the line to the track.
So now we have some clean air with Hülkenberg and Perez ahead of us. It just doesn't develop in the direction we want the race to, because I expect Perez and Hülkenberg to drive through this entire race now as well. And it will be tough to overtake them on track with that gap that we have now. But we will see. We will do our best. Maybe it is possible that we don't even have one more soft set of tire that isn't used already. So that might be the reason that we are now on mediums. Yeah, it's just a bad strategy call from the team. Not doing much. We're fighting for nothing in a championship. We're pretty safe in 8th place in the Drivers' Championship and in 4th place in the Constructors' Championship, so that's okay. Even though there was a little hope that we could catch up to Perez. Oh, there we are side by side with Alex Albon. He almost made the overcut work. And he will now set the pressure once again. That will be tough to defend from. Norris is there as well. Now we have to hope for the second straight. Alright, why do I get a warning for this? Can we do something? No. He's too good on the braking for us. So we stay in 11th. I hope that we can at least stay in 11th a bit longer now, because Norris and Butler as well are pressurizing us a bit. The pace is not as good as I hoped it would be in the race. It's one of, just a little amount of tracks where we have better qualifying pace than race pace. Especially after having the races in Mexico, the USA and Brazil, where we pretty much finished every qualifying in last position and made points in every race then. It's just about the opposite here. With now getting overtaken by Norris. That was a bit late, but it's just okay, we can keep it on track to re-overtake Norris. Now we have 5 laps to go. Will be intense 5 laps, I feel, against the McLaren and the Toro Rosso directly behind us. That was way too early. I hate this penalty system. Now Norris seems to be a bit more patient. Ooh, and he dives it. Okay. That was said a bit too early. Yeah, it gets close there.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Oh, and our teammate has an issue. He's running in a good position. P8, I think it is. So that's a bitter pill for him. But that gets ourselves a possibility to get back in the points paying positions. With 4 laps to go, it might be that Hülkenberg still remains in front of us. We will see. But so we once again have a used to fight against Norris, because it might be for 10th position in the end.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Now we are on the minus with fuel mixture and Norris still pressurizes us. For how much longer can we defend from him? I am not sure about it. But at least for this lap. Hülkenberg now already in 10th position. Oh, whoa. Norris with a bolt dive. It seems like we can catch up to Hülkenberg. Ah! I knew it when I made the steering. What is happening? What an unusual mistake. We have a bit of slipstream against Hülkenberg. That might get us an advantage against Norris, who once again dives it. But we can keep position for now, even though we have a pretty struggling rear end. Now we're closing in onto Hülkenberg. But for now we have only corners ahead of us, so no real overtaking possibility. But now around the outside in the first corner maybe. Now we have to back out of it. It's weird how he can hold us up with that pace, it's just horrendous. And now we are under even more pressure, because he pushes us into Norris and Butler. Now out of the hairpin, we should be able to get him. Yeah, that shouldn't be too tough. Now we're up into 10th position, so we get a 1 point. If we can keep it, and it seems a bit late. I now hope that Hülkenberg just holds up Norris and Butler as much as he did us in the lap before. Should be pretty likely, and that helps us getting in a bit of a lonely place, which makes our job a bit easier. So the last lap of the season is now on the way. Even the last lap in the Alfa Romeo car. And we have still Hamilton in P2, so the championship decision probably is done by now. And we have a new 6-time world champion with Lewis Hamilton, winning the 5th time now in 6 years. Vettel with a bit of luck being not out for one race in this season, but anyway, with consistent and really solid driving, made it close, but just about isn't enough against Hamilton, who won clearly most out of the races and gets a deserved championship, while Max Verstappen takes victory here in the final race after winning the first race in Australia and I think one other race throughout the season. He has now also won the last race. Maybe a good sign for the next season for the Dutchman. I'm not even sure if Leclerc let Vettel pass by purpose now to at least get him P3. I'm not sure. Anyway, we get home for P10 to get one last point this season, even though that clearly is not enough to overtake Perez in the championship. Now here we have Lewis Hamilton celebrating his 6th World Drivers' Championship title. He's getting himself right up there with the legend, Michael Schumacher himself. Yeah, and here is Christian Horner and the Red Bull team celebrating this man's solid victory. Starting from pole position, leading every single lap. I think. Maybe Hamilton was leading some laps. Giovinazzi once again a bit disappointing in the Renault. I think the only one in this whole grid who didn't score one single point in this season. Even though, of course, he only did 5 races, I think, or 6 races after replacing Hülkenberg, who switched to Alfa Romeo. But that was just disappointing. He was clearly dominated by Ricciardo. Anyway, Mercedes here celebrating Lewis Hamilton in fashion. Really a deserved championship victory. Even posting the fastest lap in the end. Anyway, here we have the full race results. Max Verstappen taking victory in front of Hamilton and Leclerc. Vettel only in 4th place. Then we have Gasly, Bottas once again disappointing. Yeah, I mean, he was slower than Gasly. That's just not a good sign for him. Then we have Sainz once again with strong performance in 7th place, but it is just about not enough to help McLaren overtake the Haas team in the Constructors' Championship. At least I think so. We will have a look at it pretty soon. Yeah, Perez in 8th place, once again, incredible performance by him. Outdoing Lance Stroll in dominant fashion. Albon with a good performance. Really a good season finish for him. Second half of the season was better than Devin Butler's. And Fernando Alonso coming home in 10th position. Yeah, it's not what I hoped after starting from P4, being best of the race in qualifying, but I guess we have to take it. With Hülkenberg in P12, George Russell in a solid 14th place, and the two Renaults in last and second last, just disappointing. The whole second half of the season was just disappointing for Renault. Yeah, out of the race were Lucas Weber and Kevin Magnussen. So now let's to the final standings in the championship. Hamilton wins, just 10 points ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Incredible close fight. At some point I expected that Hamilton would seal the Drivers' Championship already in about Mexico or something like that. But then he had some bad luck, and that got Vettel closer and closer, even taking the lead at some point. But yeah, in the end the pace of Hamilton was enough. And Verstappen, with a solid drive throughout the season, overtook Charles Leclerc right at the death of the championship, with 8 points ahead of the young Monegasque. Bottas in a just disappointing 5th position, 137 points behind Hamilton. That's just not what you would expect from the Finn. But anyway, at least he was ahead of Gasly. Yeah, best of the rest, Formula 1.5 champion if you want, is Sergio Perez in the Racing Point. Really deserved, to be honest. He dominated his teammate like no other, and just got the most out of clearly only midfield car to take 7th place, right ahead of the two Alfa Romeos. Full-time Alfa Romeo driver Alonso and Hülkenberg, who only for the last 5 races joined the Alfa Romeo team after Raikkonen stopping his career. I don't know for what reason. Came a bit surprising. I mean, of course we dominated him pretty much, even more and more as the season went on, but I'm not sure if he was forced from the Alfa Romeo team to be retiring. Wouldn't make any sense. Anyway, with Ricciardo in P10, yeah, with a weak Renault at the dying stages, it was still a success for him. Sainz overtaking Magnussen in the last race with this strong 7th place, only 1 point ahead of the Dane, who was just about ahead of his teammate Grosjean. Then we have Lando Norris, Devin Butler, then Kimi Räikkönen with only 16 out of the 21 races. Alex Albon in the last race at least getting close to Räikkönen, and not far behind Devin Butler as well. Was a good season by both of the rookies. Lance Stroll, I don't know what was with him. He didn't score a single point in the second half of the season, while Perez made about 50 at the same time. That was just ridiculous. I mean, it wasn't even bad luck, it was just him being way out of contention throughout every single race. And he had to fear the two Williams overtaking him in the championship, which just isn't good for him. I honestly don't expect Stroll to be in Formula 1 next year. We will see. We have Kubica and Raikkonen potentially getting a seat next year, and someone else as well who is missing there as well. Let me think a bit. Danny Kvyat. Yeah, of course he deserves a seat. Especially Danny Kvyat, I want to have in Formula 1 next season. And I think no one needs Kubica. But anyway, we will see. We cannot choose it. Yeah, Constructors table, at least one success for Ferrari. They are the Constructors Championship champions. 31 points ahead of Mercedes. Yeah, in the end it was honestly, especially the bad luck that Mercedes had with, I don't know, 6-7 retirements I think throughout the season, while Ferrari had only 2, both on Leclerc's side. Yeah, Red Bull in a lonely 3rd position, and Alfa Romeo being best of the rest. What a success for them. Only 15 points ahead of Racing Point in the end. Then we have Renault, and actually equal on points we have Haas and McLaren. Oh, that's a bit of a McLaren. They really deserve to overtake Haas in the end, but they just about couldn't do it. But it was really an astonishing fight in the midfield pack. I mean, we are now only 37 points ahead of McLaren in 8th position. It's not really much. But yeah, that's how the season went. Pretty much like you would expect it from the real life season as well. Maybe with McLaren being in a solid 4th position and Ferrari more fighting Red Bull than Mercedes. But otherwise, it's just about how it really is, how it is in real life. Yeah. So that was the race today. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we have some contracts to negotiate. Before that we have to do some interviews. We even get a trophy, beating our rival. No good race for Lucas Weber. How do you think does he feel after he couldn't end this race? I don't know. I mean, what could he do against it? I think he always thinks positive. We know him. He will focus to correct his errors. Devin Butler was way better in race than in qualifying. Did you expect it? Why do you ask me these questions? Yeah, he always gives everything. That makes him a tough rival. Yeah. Really? I seem to be in the autoscooter more than to be in Formula 1 today. What race did you watch? I didn't crash anyone. I don't want to be any more calm. I don't. Just leave it with no comment. Okay. Some weird questions to end this season. I thought she would question me something about my future, which would be interesting. Or ask me for a season summary. But no, she asked me this stupid questions. Ridiculous. Anyway. We get an incredible amount of R&D points here to get up to 1,600 points, but I don't expect to spend them. We didn't qualify for better, with 7th being our best. I mean, what else was to expect? Anyway, as you can see, we have a huge reputation at almost every team. The only ones where it isn't the case is Red Bull, Mercedes, and funny enough our own team Alfa Romeo. Anyway, all three of them are not our targets next season. Hello Emma.
Deine Leistungen waren gut. Das gibt uns mehr Spielraum bei Vertragsverhandlungen. Und meine 10% lohnen sich auch mehr. Also genießt die Pause und nächstes Jahr weiter so.
Yeah, thank you very much for the compliment.
Solche Platzierungen
I will do my best to keep up the pace.
viel davon.
So, we have a black screen. Nice. Okay, now we have the contract negotiations I spoke about already, and you know what I'm aiming to do.
Vorteile eines Teamwechsels durchdenken.
We have Ferrari being really hugely interested in us, into us. And so, we'll make a contract with them. Of course, being second driver, I wouldn't expect anything else. But qualifying position, I feel like we can go for 6th place. Yeah. Race position 5th place. That should be doable in the 3rd best car, I think it is on the grid. But we want to develop a bit more. Upgrade speed. Yeah, we will take that as it is. A bit more pit stop efficiency I would like. And a bit more resource points in the race. But we could go for even more, I think. But what would be interesting to do even more? Maybe 3 upgrades per department and 20% pit stop efficiency. We could have gone for even more. Yeah, okay. That's a good contract anyway. With Fernando Alonso being in Ferrari next year. I like that very much. So, yeah, that's season over. Then we can recap all of the results made in this season. There you can see once again just how much Hamilton deserved this championship title. Being at the top 2 places almost every time he finished. That's just incredible. With how many? 10 victories. So almost half of the races this season he won. Vettel only won 4 races and Verstappen as well 4. Leclerc only 1 and Bottas 2. Gasly not even being better than 3rd place. In Singapore he was 2nd. Yeah, but overall just disappointing compared to a 4-time race winner, Max Verstappen. Well, okay. So that's the end of the season, I think. You can see our development as well. Until France we only had 2 points on the tally. And beginning with Austria we just were on a streak that gave us 60 points in the last 2/3 of the season. I think we were even better than Perez, and I had a weak start as well with much bad luck, but compared to all the others we were clearly ahead, beside all the top 6 of course. Yeah, so that's just about it for this season. So let's head to the next season. 2020 on the way. Yeah, that's just a comparison of car performance to the end of the season, with Alfa Romeo only being in 7th place after developing just on the edge. Of course we had bad luck as well, you must say, with so many failed upgrades, but we did everything we could. So I'm now excited for the driver transfers for the start of the next season, which will, the Australian Grand Prix will be published at Wednesday, I think. Yeah, I think I will do it at Wednesday. So I hope you are excited for this one. Here we are at our new outfit, all in red, in the Ferrari. Sounds like we didn't have the best development through the winter, performance-wise, here at Ferrari, and we have, as expected, Sebastian Vettel as our teammate. So, what happened? What do you want to see first? Car performance or driver transfers? I think we will go for driver transfers, to then have the interesting thing to get to know which driver really get the right move done. We'll see. Matteo Binotto gets us welcome here at Ferrari. Yeah, that's just our contract. Target update. Okay, that's clearly doable. We did that every time we could. Yeah. That's the statistics from last season. Did we finish 18th there? No, we didn't. Did we? Ah, that's just the championship standings. Ah, okay. Interesting. We have some developments going on. Okay. The weather. Yeah. Will be dry throughout the weekend. Okay, that's not interesting, but there are the transfers. Alonso switches to Ferrari to replace Leclerc, and Leclerc replaces Hülkenberg at Alfa Romeo. And Danny Kvyat really gets into F1 to get partnering Charles Leclerc this season at Alfa Romeo. So it was just a Ferrari internal switch between Alonso and Leclerc. Alonso being upgraded and Leclerc being demoted. Ricciardo back to the roots for him. After switching from Red Bull to Renault for the last season, he now switches to his youth team Toro Rosso, as well as Carlos Sainz. He does exactly the same thing. Albon is out of Formula 1 for this season. Butler is replaced as well, but he seems to be changing team. So now we have Perez. That will be interesting. How do I go down there? I cannot, it seems. Wait a minute. At least with the wheel I cannot. Ah, yeah, I can with the pad. And Perez switches to McLaren to replace Sainz. I'm a bit surprised by that. I thought Perez would switch to a bigger team after this incredible performance in the Racing Point. So what do we have then? Nico Hülkenberg, after really a short time being in the Alfa Romeo, switches to McLaren as well, and Norris is out of Formula 1. That's a bit surprising. Devin Butler switches to Racing Point to replace Perez, and Kimi Räikkönen is back to replace Ricciardo in the Renault. Okay, and that's just about it. That's a bit disappointing. I hoped that Bottas would be replaced or Gasly. But in the top teams, the only thing changing is that Alonso switches with Leclerc. So now, the interesting thing is, are the top 3 teams even, for now, still the top 3 teams? We will see. Oh my goodness me. No, they are not. Jesus Christ, we are in 7th in the Ferrari. How the hell did you do that? I mean, it's close between all the teams, but we are only in 7th. Ferrari just got down the order massively, with Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso, Racing Point and Haas jumping up the order huge, and Mercedes and Red Bull de-developing as well. Oh, I tell you, that will be an incredible season. Ricciardo and Sainz seem to have made the right move to get into Toro Rosso. Maybe it was known before that Red Bull has plans to make the Toro Rosso team just as big as Red Bull is. Maybe Ferrari did the same thing with Alfa Romeo, I don't know. Mercedes maybe the same thing with Racing Point, you could interpret that. Maybe there was a rule change in how much money you can spend. Maybe there's now a limit, and that made the top 3 teams think if they don't have the ability to develop even further, they could put in the development into a second team, which in the Mercedes case is Racing Point, in the Ferrari case is Alfa Romeo, and or is it Haas? I don't know, they are both at about the same level. And at the Red Bull case it is Toro Rosso. You could interpret that, with the privateers McLaren, Renault and Williams being way out of contention. Yeah, so we are ahead of a hugely interesting season, I can tell you that, and I'm really excited to look forward to it, to get Ferrari back up the order and see how it develops between all those closely matched teams. I think on car performance there's about half a second, 8/10 of a second maybe, between the Red Bull on top and ourselves in the Ferrari. So that will be really interesting to watch. I like it already. So I hope you like it as well and will join in for the next episode. Until then, I say goodbye.